Okay, it is showing me as live.
Let's give it just a second. It's usually a few minutes delay. Right now, all it's showing is uploads. Like I said, it usually takes a few minutes to post. Let's see if my phone buzzes, because I know I got notifications coming to my phone whenever everybody in the league drinks up. Yeah, I've got no notifications on my phone yet, and I'm on your page, and all it shows is uploads.
Try to give it a refresh.
Refresh, same thing.
Let me see if I can hop on mine and see if. I got a couple accounts attached to this. So,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? I attached it to the wrong account. Son of a bitch. Videos. Just trying to see if it'll give me a link. If you type in Weldon Entertainment all as one word and not separated, that's the other account. Okay, there it goes. It says I'm live right now.
Let's see. Refresh. Give it just a few seconds here. I'll try to refresh.
It says I'm live. I just don't see it.
Still nothing. Let me try to. Just click on your uploads. Nothing there.
Did you go up into the? It's because it's a different account. Let me just make this the right account. That'll make that a lot easier.
Okay.
It's simply on the wrong account.
Oh, well, if you want me to go to the other account, I can do that.
Yeah, if you
I
just if you just go to Weldon Entertainment all as one word instead of two separate words.
Okay.
That should get you there. It says I have one person watching.
Yeah. It says you're live right now.
Okay.
The only thing is, we will need to. Obviously, this is your personal stuff, though, right, man?
No, it's my business stuff.
Okay, cool. So you'll be able to still get this to the guys, though, right?
Yeah, but I'm wondering if it gives you a link, because it doesn't give me a link that you can send to them.
I'm on it right now. I've got a link. Let me go on my phone, though. You want me to post it in the advancement chat?
Yeah, if you could, and then we'll essentially go live, and then after we go live, we can just stay on because we know we're live. And what I'll do is I will just edit the beginning of this out of all of us talking before I actually upload it.
Okay. Either that or you can restart. I'm on your account now. Let's see here. Of course, on there, in your account, it's not showing anything live, man, on this one. On my computer, it is, but on my phone, it's not. Let me try to subscribe and see if that helps.
You typed all in one word?
Yeah, I'm on the right page because it's got the same exact logo and everything. It's just on the phone.
Well, it's the same logo for both. That's another problem.
Right. No, I mean, it's literally the same exact thing. It says Weldon Entertainment with no spaces.
Correct. Actually says I got 2 people watching.
Okay.
So someone's there with me.
I'm on my laptop, right? and I can get the link there. I just can't get it to the guys from my laptop to my phone. That's why I was trying to hop on here. Because now that I'm subscribed, it says you're live on my phone, but when I click on it, there's no video live.
You would think that there would just be a share screen or a share button.
Right. Yeah, I think I found it. Of course, it's not showing us live, but on screen it kind of.
No, there's one there's one from a test earlier. So that
Okay, yeah. So it's not.
Okay, hold on, I got it here. I got the live one.
All right.
I got the live one. I'm posting to GroupMe right now.
Awesome.
All right, I think we got it. I think we're live. Hopefully, one of these guys clicks in. And then once I confirm that that's good, we'll start up. Like I said, I'll just edit the rest of this crap out.
Now, when you say Weldon's mock draft and Lamb's mock draft, now it's on each side. Are we? So you're going to make your pick, and I'm going to make my pick. Is that how it's going to work?
Yes.
Okay. So we're not rotating. Like you pick, you take pick 1, I take pick 2, you take pick 3.
No, just go in, just like
Gotcha.
Mel and what's his face there.
Okay.
And then I got 2 little word boxes open here that I'll just keep swapping through and.
Okay.
We'll go from there. If someone doesn't let me go or let me know soon they can hear us, I'll just plan to start.
Okay.
Come on, people. Let me know. It says we got 3 people watching. One's probably you on your. Also says I got a message here. You on watch page. Let's see that. Maybe I can see these comments coming in. You on watch page. Let's see that. Maybe I can see these comments coming in. Doubles up, and I see your live chat there.
Cool.
Okay. So, does look like we're live, and I heard myself all right.
How did I sound? I'll go ahead and give you a couple of tests here. You good? Hear me all right?
6 says he can hear me just fine. If you just sing yourself a song, maybe we can tell.
All right. Let me sing. What do they sing over there in Great Britain? What's the national anthem? What's it called? Something about the Queen?
Yeah,
Queens.
they are all about that freaking Queen, man.
Yeah, they what was it? The Queen stole my muffin. Now they got another term for it. What's a muffin over there? What is it? I can't even remember. Oh well. Sick. We love you, man.
All right, I got.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it got loud there for a minute.
I did. I put a microphone boost on to see if.
Hinton just said you hear can. Evidently, he's been taking English lessons from Eric. I don't know what's going on there.
You hear
he wins
Ken?
a Super Bowl, automatically decides he's going to change the English language around. It's like Yoda typing in the box there. You hear can? Maybe he said beer can. I'm not sure what he meant.
I don't. What did he send you that in private?
No, it's on your YouTube chat box. Yeah, just so you guys know, we're just doing a quick test. We're going to go live straight from here, so you don't have to leave this when I go to another link. And Weldon's just going to edit all this out later on. So, okay, evidently Henson heard me fine because he just responded to what I said, so we should be good.
Okay, that's great. All right, let me make sure all this stuff is up. Just pull up all my information now that I got rid of it all. Pull up one more thing, Lamb, and I'm good to go.
All right, good deal, man. Just got a notification saying watch the Seattle Seahawks Green Bay Packers trailer for this weekend. I'm afraid to watch it. Yeah, it's gonna be ugly, I believe.
It'll be a beatdown.
Yeah, they don't match up well.
You on watch page? Let's see that. Maybe I can see these comments coming in.
That was the way the ball
Thumbs up, and I see
Russell
your.
Wilson are just on the same page right now, man.
All right, I can hear you on the. I just got to mute the feed coming through. Okay.
Oh,
Is there an error somewhere? You all right? All right, guys, we'll finally get started. I just wanted to bring this together. I thought this would be a little fun thing for us to do. Lamb and I are actually going to go through this 2021 draft, and we're going to do a mock draft. Each give our first top 32 picks based on the teams that are currently there. Whether we draft tonight or draft tomorrow, either way, however that goes, some of those positions may change, as well as in draft trades that we have for the first time this draft. So why don't we get started? Lamb, if you could just give me a first overall, how you see this draft. Is it a good draft? Is it a deep draft? How do you first see this draft when you take a look at it?
yeah. Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is it's very, very weak at the quarterback position. And, I know we've got a couple of users that are looking to draft quarterbacks this year. At least if I were in their shoes, I would be looking at quarterbacks. So very weak at quarterback. However, very heavy at defensive line. And when I say defensive line, I mean from a 34 defensive, standpoint. And that doesn't mean that you can't start the same size defensive, in a 4-3 as you do a 3-4. However, the way I set up my board, the way I did the draft is out of a 34 base. So I'm seeing really, really light in the quarterback column and very heavy in the defensive lineman column. What I mean by that is I can see as many as 5 first-round picks at the defensive line position. And when it comes to pass rushers, which that could fall into that defensive end, depending on what kind of scheme you run. I've got 3 projected in the first round. So you're looking at a very, very heavy defensive draft, but on the offensive side, doesn't mean there aren't some studs out there. I just noticed that the defensive side is very heavy this year. Quarterbacks skimpy, so expect quarterbacks to go early. There's just a couple that are looking good.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I'm not personally looking for a quarterback, but I do see that that's pretty weak. And we'll have to see how it all shakes out.
Absolutely.
All right. Why don't we actually just jump right in? We'll let's get let me give you my first overall pick. and then we'll see what Lamb has to say about his. So, with the first pick this year, we got Sick Note with his 49ers. It says his 5 top needs are middle linebacker, halfback, quarterback, left outside linebacker, and wide receiver. Apparently, Sick says that he got this pick in a previous draft or previous trade, from a prior year. So that's a hell of a way to get it. What I have here is Sick going the route that he normally goes. With his quarterback gone, I can certainly see him going quarterback here, but maybe not the quarterback that we're thinking of. Okay, I'm seeing Sick going with Casey Ream, little fast guy. Where is he out of? See, a little fast guy out of Georgia. Ran a 4.59 40. Has a pretty good vertical jump. His first set of quarterbacks. Not that that's important. Has pretty decent acceleration here. He's got decent throw power. I just see that as Sick type of guy. Now, if it were anybody but Sick going first, he wouldn't be the first pick. But in my eyes, I can see certainly Sick making this selection. Lamb, how about you?
Definitely. I agree 100%, man, to be honest with you. I've looked at the 2 quarterbacks, and to me, Ream is by far the one that I would choose. However, you said something just then. You talked about how if it were another user, they may not go quarterback there. With Sick having the number 6 pick as well with the 49ers, if it were me, what I would do is go a different position of need and then take, I guess the lesser of the top 2, because Ricky Couch is a great pocket passing quarterback. He's out of USC, 6'6", 228 is that prototypical quarterback. However, we know Sick likes to scramble a little bit. He likes a quarterback that's mobile. So I've got to agree with you 100%. He's the top quarterback on my board. I've got him taking Ream. So.
Okay, we matched up the first time. So, as you guys will notice, and as you guys have all seen, most of these first couple picks here are user picks. I think we're all user picks all the way until pick 11. It looks like.
That's awesome.
This will certainly have an impact on how this mock draft goes. Simply because we know we've drafted with each other so often that we kind of have a feel for what each other likes to do. So my second pick for the Chargers, who Tom has recently taken over, here with his top needs at cornerback, left tackle, right outside linebacker, left outside linebacker, and quarterback. Now, he traded for Blackburn last year at quarterback, so I don't see him making that change to Couch at this time. So what I'm actually going with is Perry Brown, the cornerback out of USC, 24 years old, ran a 4.34 40. Pretty decent acceleration. This guy's pretty solid. If I had a pick up there, I could say that he'd definitely be under consideration. I have him somewhere between a 94 and a 96 speed. Very good man coverage, decent zone, good acceleration. And he's got pretty decent jump, which is a trait that I actually really like in my cornerbacks. The only thing that it is that he's 24 years old, but at 24 you need to start, and I think this guy could start for him right away. All right, Lamb, what do you think?
Gotcha. Well, cornerback is definitely a position of need for the San Diego Chargers. The bigger need, though, is getting that hole fixed in the roof of that stadium or whatever the hell's going on out there. I don't know if you've heard about this, but his stadium is rated zeros across the board. So we've got bigger needs than just a cornerback. However, when I look at it and break it down, the corner that you mentioned, Brown, great player. Most experts have him listed as roughly the 8th or 9th best player on the board. So it's a little bit of a reach, but still a somewhat safe pick. However, right there toward the top, what I see is the second need that Tom and his Chargers have, and that's offensive linemen. And right toward the top, you've got a couple of offensive tackles to choose from. You've got Parker Evans out of Louisville. He's a great pass blocking left tackle. And you've got a balanced left tackle from USC and Cannell. So if it were me, I would say that Tom is probably going to go. I'm going to look back at my board one last time here just to double check, make sure I'm not overlooking anybody. Yeah, I'm probably going with Evans here. So I would give San Diego Chargers Parker Evans out of Louisville. He's a guy that he's nothing real flashy, but he just looks like a solid, safe pick. Even though you're drafting him at number 2, I could see him being maybe the 10th or 15th true draft talent here. But it's a safe pick. You're filling pretty much the second position of need, and with someone who's 6'6", 314, great pass blocker, only 23 years old, 34 reps on the bench press. Although there were 8 other left tackles that got more reps than him, usually when you get up over 33, 34, right around 35, not much of a strength difference between the next guy. So that's who I'm going with the Chargers there. Parker Evans out of Louisville, left tackle.
Okay. So let's jump in. These next 3 picks are yours. You've already kind of mentioned that you may draft out of one, but in the sake of a mock draft, we'll keep all of them there. For the purpose here. Now, don't tip your hand here at all. Picks, but,
this is tough, man. This is tough because I want to be honest and give good information, but at the same time, you don't want to tip too much. So why don't we do this? Why don't you make the picks for me for these next 3, and I make the picks for you? How about that?
Okay. All right.
That sound good?
That sounds good to me.
All right, cool.
I'll put NA for the next 3 picks. Not applicable. Not tipping his hand.
No comment.
Strategic. Strategic. So.
What was it Marshawn Lynch said? I'm only. What was it he said?
I'm here so I don't get fined.
That's it. Yeah. So that's me, right?
Okay. So actually, I'm actually going to bundle all 3 of these picks together here for you. Okay. So it has your top needs, Lamb's top needs, as right outside linebacker, wide receiver, left end, free safety, and left tackle. So myself, I could see Lamb here taking actually the top 3 rated players for this year's draft, being 4, 5, and 6. Which pretty decent values there. But I can see him going right in that order. I can see him going with Ricky Flemings. He is a 6'7", 256-pound outside linebacker. I know left end. I know that's a little light for Lamb, but he does have some good stuff going for him. The only thing that raises a little red flag to me is that his block shedding might be below a B, and that does have a little bit of fear for me.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, he's got good pursuit, good power moves, and he's really gonna, he's got great acceleration. Sorry, that's probably one of the biggest things. He had a very good combine, a 7.0 grade in the combine. But I can see that acceleration coming off the edge. 6'7", it's kind of nice.
Crazy.
23 years old. So I can certainly see you taking the top pick in the draft with Ricky Flemings here at the left tackle or left end position. I apologize. As for your 4th pick, I see you going with the 2nd-rated player of Parker Evans, being that is also one of your needs. You actually brushed up on him a little bit in your previous one, having him go to the Chargers. But 6'6", 314 pounds, 23 years old, out of Louisville. Just kind of consistent all the way across the board with everything. He's going to range anywhere from 87 to 90 strength, which is good. That where you want to be with a lineman. Decent acceleration. It doesn't really matter unless you're a pulling team like I am. I run a lot of counters and such. So I can just see you going with Evans in that specific situation, knowing that you'll find a way to make that work. Okay. And as for our fifth pick uh, for the Packers, I haven't taken them. I have them taking another one of their needs, even though the need says right outside linebacker. I'm going to go with left outside linebacker Ronald Spicer. Third overall ranked guy. He is a 6'2", 250-pound outside linebacker. He had the fastest 40 time out of the outside linebackers. Good acceleration. Very good bench press for an outside linebacker. This dude is a stud. He would be the top guy on my board. Chances of me touching him at the number 6 pick, I believe I am. 7 pick is unlikely, so I'll raise him up right now. He's a man. He's a beast. You got any thoughts on any of those 3 players there, Lamb?
I really don't disagree with any of them. To be honest with you, I think they were all solid. I could see me going that route for sure. Like you said, don't want to tip your hand too much. I will tell you this: there's one of those 3 that you mentioned that very, very, very excited about. However, there's another player in a position that I may go with instead of that. So it's cool, man. I know where I'm picking 3, 4, and 5. Here it is. Less than 24 hours before we draft, and I'm still undecided. How cool is that? You know what I mean? It just when you climb into that top 5, that top 10, that's when things get really, really interesting. So you get a lot of users, like you said, in the top 10 picking. You never really know which direction people are going to go. So yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you at all, man. So let's move on to the 49ers. We got a sick note back on the board, right? And what I did, I went ahead and marked off Perry Brown, the cornerback that you took earlier, because I had already taken Evans in my mock, so we're kind of caught back up. This is the only problem you run into, guys, when you do a dual mock draft as opposed to just alternating picks, is sometimes you get to a position like that where certain players are off the board or not off the board. And in that case, I would have been 1 tackle heavy. So, but anyway, sick note, 49ers. Let's see. He went quarterback, right? Went with Ream, first round. Obviously, he lost Christian McCaffrey, who was just an absolute stud, broke the bank in free agency. So his needs now after taking the quarterback are linebacker and halfback. And when you look at the top picks here that are available, you don't want to reach, obviously. In my opinion, the first halfback that's going to be available is literally 15 picks away. This is exactly what we were talking about just a second ago, Weldon. One of the top 3 picks projected right here is Ricky Couch. So I kind of feel like if you had waited on Ream, you could have gotten your pick of the litter there, and Ream may have still even been there because Ream was projected lower than Ricky Couch. Unless the Chargers would have took a quarterback. I know me personally, as the Packers, I'm not taking a quarterback. I got a young 22-year-old, 95 overall. So I kind of feel like if you're listening to this, keep an eye on that, man. There's a chance that you get your pick of both of those quarterbacks at number 6, unless Tom crawfishes and goes up and takes them. So with that being said, linebacker, halfback, I would have to go with, in my mock here, I'd probably go with Khalil, middle linebacker Khalil. He's a little bit further down on the board. In my opinion, he's the best linebacker in the draft. You throw him right in the middle of your defense. I think he's also got some stuff that he can do on the outside as far as a combine grade. When you look at his numbers, he ran a 4.5 40. At the combine, his 3-cone drill was 7.02, best of all the middle linebackers. His 20-yard shuttle was 4.23, best of all middle linebackers. And was also in the top 10, and in most cases the top 5 in other categories. Bench press 28 reps, number 4. That means he's going to bring the stick. He got a B+ hit power. He's somebody that's going to be a solid pick. So I would say sick note goes with middle linebacker Khalil. That's out of Clemson. What do you think there? And then we'll get back on track and let you pick first again next
All right,
week.
That's actually right where I was. That's right where my mock led me. 6 all about those middle linebackers. He's taken them early in the past, so he doesn't really matter. He doesn't care that he's rated 21st overall. for sure. So I could certainly see him. And he also, I'm a big guy about weight and size in my middle. Khalil's only 238 pounds. You know, that to me is a little bit light for a middle linebacker. But I think Sick won't. I think he won't mind that at all. I mean, it's pretty hefty, but he's in between that size of middle linebacker and strong safety to me. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I say he goes middle linebacker Khalil.
Good deal.
This 7th pick here is actually one for me.
Okay.
So you are going to have to take the.
All right, but this actually works out really well because I know earlier you took Percy Brown. I believe it was for or Perry Brown. I'm sorry, for the Chargers. Is that right? No. Yeah, that's right. I went left tackle Evans, which you end up throwing on my team. You actually went with Perry Brown at cornerback. So on my mock, he's still available, and hands down, that's who I would go with if I was picking for you and your Buffalo Bills. I'm showing your top 3 points of need are defensive line, wide receiver, and cornerback. I know you're a defensive-minded kind of guy, kind of like I am. I'd rather shore up the defense because I've got a lot more control on offense, especially when you got a heavy running game. I don't see you chasing down a wide receiver that might be a little bit of a reach. So I've actually got the Buffalo Bills taking cornerback Brown, which, like I said in your mock, you had off the board earlier. So we should be back even in that regard. The thing I like about Brown, he's a true man-to-man cornerback. He's out of USC. He's 5'10", 183. I'm showing a great man coverage, great press, not too shabby zone coverage. And when you look at his combine numbers, here's the big thing, guys. He ran a 4.34 40. So he's the fastest cornerback in the draft, maybe the fastest player in the draft. If I remember correctly, I did see somebody really, really late who ran a 4.26, who's coming out very, very late in the draft. Also, the big thing for me was his 3-cone and his 20-yard shuttle. He was ranked 5th and 6th in those categories amongst corners. The only knock on him, he doesn't have a very good vertical jump. However, he's a good sticky receiver, somebody who's going to stick to that sticky corner is going to stick to the wide receiver, play good man-to-man coverage in those situations where sometimes Weldon and his Buffalo Bills, they like to dial up that zero coverage blitz. So I can definitely see you going with Perry Brown. That's what I've got for the Buffalo Bills.
All right, yeah. I mean, he's certainly great. I have to see if he falls down to me. In my eyes, from the way that my mock came together. So now we got the Eagles. Okay, Super Bowl champions, first time ever, defeating me there. I got to give him some love. He beat me. I made some mistakes, in that comeback. I know Madden didn't help, but he beat me too. So we can't always blame it on the game. He played good. He had a lot of big plays. A lot of interceptions that he usured and manned up on. So I think it was a well-deserved Super Bowl win for him. Now, for the Eagles, for me, one of the biggest things that beat me in that Super Bowl was Zach Ertz. Flat out, tight end, doing that corner route, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, free agency, went to the Saints. That position's wide open and obviously a need for him. So I can see the Eagles staying pretty true, going with a safe pick here of Aaron Melton, tight end. Where is he out of? Tight end out of Stanford, 23 years old, 6'6", 263 pounds. Fast, 4.5 40, good acceleration. I think he's a fantastic fit for what Henson does there in Philadelphia. What do you think?
Yeah, out of the top 3 needs within the Philadelphia Eagles team, their roster, he's definitely the safest pick when it comes to the top 3 needs of linebacker, cornerback, and tight end. I would go Melton as well. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, Melton is at the very, very top of my board. I mean, he's a guy that when you listen to these numbers, I mean, it's unbelievable. He's 6'6", 263, 23 years old, out of Stanford, vertical threat. 40-yard dash, 4.54 or 4.55. Vertical jump, 36.1 inches. That's third amongst tight ends. Broad jump, 10 foot 4 inches. Third amongst tight ends. 3-cone drill, 6.93, first amongst tight ends. 20-yard shuttle, 4.19, first amongst tight ends. This is a guy that moves very, very well for that huge frame of 6'6", 263. You're not going to be using him to block. And what you mentioned with Henson, and we all watched the Super Bowl, it was a great game. He loves that corner route. This is a guy that's got those loose hips that he can turn loose and position his body to make great catches. Not only that, work the sideline, but get out of that break coming out of that corner route. So I could definitely see him taking Aaron Melton as well. So we're on the same page with a lot of these picks. What's cool is guys are going to listen to this now. They may place a little more value amongst players that they didn't before, and it's really going to shake things up here in the top 10. So, yeah, Philadelphia Eagles, I got tight end Melton.
I think one of the greatest things that we're going to see this year, and why I was actually pretty excited about doing the mock draft, is that as we're talking about these picks, the wild card that we didn't have in the past was being able to trade up during the draft to get one of these guys.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So with that in mind, you may think that this guy's going to fall to you, but do not put that to the bank. Do not bring that to the bank. One of these guys, if someone puts high value on him, could come up and get him just as easily.
Yeah, and it's cool. And also, guys are going to be able to trade down too, which I think is awesome. You get to the point where you've got 5 or 6 players that you really, really like. You know what, man? I'd be happy with either of those 5. Let me trade down, 3 picks and pick up a late 3rd rounder or something. So, pretty cool.
I can tell you that I'm a big advocate of trading down. More picks.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to number 9 here. It's the resurgence of the Eagles with Michael taking them over, and you got your 9th pick. 9th pick here. It says the needs are left end, D tackle, left outside linebacker, cornerback, and right tackle. What I see him going with that left end with Teddy Minkins, I believe is how you would say his name, Mickens. Decent speed. I know overall his acceleration was very good. I know some of his top 3 skills didn't come out the way one would hope for this early of a pick, but I could certainly see him taking him, running that 4-3 and getting off the edge, almost like a rush outside linebacker. Really, what Bruce Irvin came to do when he first got there. Nobody really remembered him. Nobody, he was kind of a weird pick at the time. But when he got there, he was a stud. It was just this fast guy off the edge, played D end at first. I think he switched to outside linebacker eventually. I could just see him going Teddy Minkins here.
Yeah, that at first glance, that was the guy that I would say they would take. He fits a need. He's toward the top of the board. However, when you dive into his scouting a little bit, to me, here we are. We're at pick number 9 for the Seattle Seahawks. That you get in the first round, and even more so, it applies in the top 10. You've got to make sure you land a stud. You got to make sure you don't get caught going for need. And the one thing that I don't like about Mickens is he doesn't have a good ability to rush the passer as far as mechanics go. He's I think if you had to label him, you would label him a finesse move pass rusher.
Yes.
However, he wasn't praised for that coming out of college. The big thing for him was his first step, which on the upside of that, it's okay. That's the hardest thing to upgrade in Madden. So you got that covered. And now you got to focus on the pass rush. But at the same time, and I'm sitting here going, you know what? You're needing a stud. This is a top 10 pick. You got to go with something that what I consider is a safe pick. So when I look at it here, man, I've got to go a little bit different route. I'm going to go with somebody who's going to be a safer pick and know what you've got. And to me, that's Ryan Cannell. It's a guy that is a left tackle out of USC. I like his reach. He's one of those guys that can get the punch on the defender. He's 6'6", 307, got great arm length.
When you look at the combine, he had 35 reps, so very, very strong. But at the same time, he was in the top 5 in both recon and shuttle. So if you like to pull that guard out and run the ball a lot, he's somebody who can do that. And he's only 22 years old, so I think that they go with left tackle out of USC, Ryan Cannell.
All right. Well, we're back on with the Eagles. Eagles have the 10th pick here. One of the things that I feel like they lost is their cornerback. So I'm actually going to go cornerback here with this 10th pick. With this Tavares Norton. He's 26. He's 26 overall ranked. But I could certainly see him going with him simply because he's pretty consistent across the board. His speed is a little bit slow, but this would make up for the guy that he usually uses. So his speed isn't really as concerned as long as he can use him, adequately, as he did with, I believe his name was Natal or Muttel, that he did at that right cornerback position last year. So I could certainly see him using Norton in the exact same way. Just a solid guy all the way around, nothing spectacular. I can just see him using that pick to bring that defense back to the point it was at after losing a lot of guys in free agency.
Cool. Well, all right. So you go corner there. To me, it's too much of a reach, right? It's we're still, like I said, we're at the 10th pick. I have him, or let's say the experts has him, Norton at 18th on the board right now. Right? Is that who you said, Tavares Norton?
Tavares Norton, yep, 26 overall rank. So yes, it's certainly a little bit of a reach here.
Gotcha. But it's a point of need, like you said, so I can definitely see how you can make the case there. So the top 2 needs that I've got for the Eagles is linebacker and corner. And when I look at it, man, you got to go a long ways down the board before you find a linebacker or a corner. So I'm going to stay within the top 5 projected picks here. And, when it comes down to it, looking at the players that are available, I think at this point you probably want to go, and it's tough. It's tough. You can't go wrong with a lot of these guys. Go to my big board. Make sure we don't miss on somebody here. Yeah, I'm going to reach just a little bit outside of that top 5, and I'm going to go with what I feel is the best player available right here at this spot that makes sense and not get caught reaching. That's right guard Bram Lee Steer. He's out of Tennessee. He's a run blocker, 6'2", 316. He's just a hoss. When you look at his combine, man, he put on a show. The only downfall is he's 24 years old, but he's going to be ready. He's going to step in. I would expect this guy to be somewhere between a 78 and an 80 overall. But bench press, 39 reps, that was the best position. A guy that's very, very, very flexible as far as his maneuverability as well. He's in the top 5 in every category other than vertical jump, which what do you need the guard to jump for? So I'm going to go right here with the Eagles, going best player available, and that's right guard Bram Lee Steer.
All right, so let's move on to the 49ers here. We looks like we locked up that middle linebacker earlier in the draft, locked up that quarterback earlier in the draft. So halfback, left outside linebacker, and wide receiver are still a need. I could certainly see him going with a running back here. I think he was trying out another running back last year. I don't know how well he liked him. He ended up starting McCaffrey in the playoffs anyway. So I could certainly see him going with this Dixon Mayberry here. He's going to have, that 90 speed, probably that 89, 87 acceleration, somewhere in that range. He's a balanced back, 6 foot, 206, 23 years old, out of Wisconsin. I could certainly see him using him correctly. Once again, a little bit of a reach, 24 overall ranked. But being that it's a user pick, I could certainly see that reach happening.
Gotcha. Good stuff. I'm going to go a little bit different route. Halfback is the only need that he hasn't filled yet thus far in the draft, here in the mock draft. So when I go down, like you said with halfback Mayberry, it fills a need, but he's 15th on the board. You've also got another one at Roten. He's number 20 on the board. So this is one of those situations, what we were talking about just then, guys. This would be a prime spot to trade down. You've got two good halfbacks that you can choose from that are, roughly 15 picks away. You trade down 5 picks, you're probably going to be insured to still get one of those backs, but pick up an extra pick. Obviously, in this mock draft, we're not doing any of that maneuvering. I'm going to go with the best player available on the board, and in my opinion, that's free safety Christian Lindsey. This is a guy that he's excellent hit power, someone who plays the ball very well as far as the running game, I should say. Great pursuit skills. He's actually a free safety, 6 foot 212 out of Penn State, prototypical type of free safety. He's a guy that doesn't have gaudy numbers when it comes to the combine. However, he's pretty solid across the board at a decent combine grade of 6.5. Here's the big thing you're going to get with him, Sig. By drafting this free safety, he's probably going to be about a 75 overall. I think he'll have like a quick development. So he's probably going to show up as not a very good true draft, talent pick, but he's only 21 years old. So this is a guy that I could see by the end of his rookie year at 21 and how fast he developed because age plays such a factor in Madden this year. I could see him being up around 85 after his rookie year. So I'm going to go right here with the 49ers. I'm going with free safety Christian Lindsey out of Penn State.
Okay. I'm going to try to move a little bit quicker through these CPU players here. I see that they usually go by need pretty well, pretty consistently. So we have the Colts needing a cornerback, a left tackle, middle linebacker, outside linebacker, and right tackle. I could see them. You would actually put them up to Michael up in the top, but I could actually see them going Ryan Cannell there in my draft. What do you have here for the Colts?
Gotcha. Well, with the Colts, like you said, I've got corner, left tackle, middle linebacker, and you're exactly right. When it comes to the computer, they do the same exact thing. They go by need. I'm going to go with the best offensive lineman on the board, and that's Nick Kent. He's a right tackle out of Ole Miss, 6'5", 319.
All right. So now we got the Bengals at pick 13. Middle linebacker, D tackle, left outside linebacker, free safety, and cornerback. I have them taking a little bit of a reach here, but after looking at their roster, I can certainly see them going after Myron Stewart, defensive tackle, the 20th ranked overall player here, and I think he's gonna be all right here. I just don't see it as a huge need for anybody else above, so I can certainly see a computer snagging a real good player here. With Myron Stewart.
Gotcha. All right, for me, I can see the Bengals trying to fill in that that offensive line hole that they have. That's definitely their biggest weakness here in past years. So I can see them going with the huge zone blocking right tackle out of Wisconsin, William Britton.
If I could spell the guy's name. All right. So, moving on, pick 14 here. Getting us pretty close to halfway through this. We got our Saints. Saints needing a middle linebacker, cornerback, center, wide receiver, and right outside linebacker. Based on my mock draft here, I have them going cornerback with Earl Mayle. I guess I'll say Mayle.
Okay.
Earl's a pretty decent cornerback here. If I can find you know, pretty flat across the board, 4.3 40, good acceleration, decent man, decent zone. I can see, once again, the computer getting a pretty solid pick here in the top 15.
Gotcha. All right, for me, I think this is the spot where Teddy Mickens finally comes off the board. It's the pass rusher you took earlier, 6'6", 247. He's a speed rusher off the edge, a little bit raw. He's got great burst, great acceleration. He's just lacking the actual football skills. So I think that he dropped right here to number 14 to the Saints. That's left end out of Oregon speed rusher Teddy Mickens.
All right, moving on to pick 15 here. We got the Buccaneers needing a cornerback, a right tackle, middle linebacker, left guard, and left outside linebacker. I'm going with the guy that you took up here at pick 12. I'm going to go with Nick Kent. Pretty solid pick, number 13 overall. From you got him at 12. I got him at 15. So that seems to be about his range. I could certainly see one of these computer teams picking up this Nick Kent. It'd be a pretty good right tackle. Hopefully for a long time for whoever gets him.
Definitely. All right, I think this is the point where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they can't pass up on the quarterback that was projected as the number one quarterback in the draft. Obviously Stick went a different route. He went with Ricky Couch. I think that the Buccaneers just think there's too much value there. This is kind of that Aaron Rodgers type pick. He's fallen long enough, and I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take Ricky Couch. That's a pocket passer out of USC, 6'6", 228, got a cannon for an arm.
All right, moving on to pick 16 here. I know we're flying right through here, guys. But I'd like you to be able to get on with your day, and these are some CPU picks. These are just some names for you guys to take a look at. We don't want to give too much information to you. Want to give you something to think about, but don't want you to beat us in the coming years. So we got pick 16 going to my in-division rival here, the Dolphins, needing a left outside linebacker, D tackle, left guard, cornerback, and middle linebacker. I have them going for the 28th ranked overall player, Corey Claxton, left guard. Where is he out of? Let's see, Corey Claxton is down here a little bit. He's at 24 years old, out of Notre Dame, 6'5", and he is a load, 339 pounds, 38 reps at the combine. This is just a big. It says run blocker, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was a mauler as well. So my pick there is Corey Claxton.
Very nice. All right, for the Dolphins, the top need that I have for them is defensive tackle. And this is where, guys, it's really important to break down the positions by weight and whatever scheme you're running. In this situation, the CPU may not recognize it. I'm not sure, but you've got a stud of a defensive lineman. Charles, I'm hoping I'm saying it right, Haskell. He's out of Pittsburgh, 34 versatile defensive lineman. He's 6'6", 301, got plenty of anchor, plenty of weight to play the defensive tackle position for the Miami Dolphins. So I'm going with Charles Haskell out of Pittsburgh, left end, 6'6", 301.
All right, looks like we are back at our Buffalo Bills. Lamb, I'll let you have that. This is the pick I feel like I stole in the trade. Basically traded a bum left tackle and the 31st pick for the 17th and the 30th pick. I also got rid of a fourth rounder there too. So essentially, I got a I gave up a fourth rounder and a 28-year-old 75 overall left outside linebacker for the 17th overall pick, and moved up one spot down below. So
very good. All right. When you look at the needs, I see defensive line, wide receiver. Those are the two things that stand out the most to me. In this case, I don't think you can go wrong going with Brandon Mobley, huge defensive lineman. But we
we know that you just re-signed a stud in free agency that you actually let test the market and got him back. So I don't think that that's as much of a need as it might show on paper. Having him anchor there in the middle, and this guy's kind of cut from the same cloth. Mobley 6'6", 314. So I'm going to steer away from that. And I think the obvious pick is, and I love this pick, Cedric Hadnot. He's a wide receiver out of Michigan State, very, very speedy, 5'10", 175, a great slot receiver, had an awesome combine grade of 6.9. So I can definitely see the Buffalo Bills going with their second point of need after spending all of that money on defensive linemen in free agency here, and going ahead and shoring up that receiver position. Although he is a slot receiver, he is someone who's got good boundary skills as well. So Cedric Hadnot out of Michigan State, wide receiver.
I can tell you the Buffalo Bills pretty deep at wide receiver right now in their eyes. However, all their statistics are all their overalls in that 80 range. A lot of young guys. But if he's there and if he's the best player, he might be an option for me. Absolutely. I certainly don't.
That's a very good point, though, because I have positions on my team that overall it doesn't show very good, very good grade, but they're exactly what I want, want in that position. They're doing exactly what I want them to do. So I know exactly where you're coming from there. Sure. I do believe that Hadnot is the best receiver in the draft.
Well, moving on, we got the Chiefs, right end, left tackle, middle linebacker, right outside linebacker, and D tackle are their biggest needs here. And, this would be where Brandon Mobley finally comes off, 17th overall guy at number 18. The computer stays pretty consistent. So I could certainly see Brandon Mobley, who I actually really like myself. He's pretty big stud here. Had a 6.9 grade. A little slow for my liking. I like some fast guys. I'm all about speed, but pretty decent acceleration. So I could certainly see the Chiefs getting a real solid player out of Brandon.
Good deal. I think that would be a great pick for the Chiefs, and they don't even have to move him from position. That's his natural position to ride in. However, I think that their offensive line is so depleted, they've just got to go with the best offensive lineman on the board here, as long as it's not too much of a reach. And the one that stands out to me is Jason Burris, 6'6", 317 out of Oregon, pass blocker, someone who can kind of control that edge. And then there's another guy as well, Nash Irwin, who plays left tackle for Florida State. He's more of a run blocking left tackle, which is kind of odd. But like we said, there's a lot of holes to fill there on that offensive line. And with that being said, the fact that Nash Irwin is a left tackle that's got a reputation as being a run blocker, maybe he's someone that they can slide in and around on that offensive line, kind of swing around and help fill some of those holes. So I'm going to go over Jason Burris. I'm going with Nash Irwin out of Florida State, 6'6", 332 left tackle.
All right, moving on to pick 19. I know we sped it up on you a little bit here, guys. We got the Cardinals. We got the Cardinals here. Middle linebacker, left tackle, left guard, right tackle, and center, which means they need an offensive line. They're certainly a little bit depleted there. This is where I am going to actually take Jason Burris off the board, and as you can see by my draft, this is above your man here, that Nash Irwin that you had previously going. But I think they stay true to the rankings and take Burris here at the 19th pick.
I definitely agree with that pick, and that's exactly who I'm going with. It took a little bit of digging to try to figure out who the Chiefs would want out of those two offensive linemen, both of which I think are great players. But I think that in this situation, the Cardinals, man, they're just, like you said, depleted in offensive line. So I definitely think they go with Jason Burris, left tackle.
All right, the Rams at 20 need a center, left outside linebacker, middle linebacker, cornerback, and left guard. Now, this one was a little tough for me. I actually had to dig into the second round The Rams, I believe, don't even have a center on their roster. But there's two decent centers at the beginning of the second round. I actually think they jump all the way down there. I think they go looking right around that beginning of the second round. We're in the 20s now, where you can see this happen. I think they go Christopher Candidate, center.
Good stuff. All right, for me personally, I think that it's just too much of a reach to go looking for a point of need. And, obviously drafting number 20 spot, the Rams have a lot of holes to fill. Like you said, the point of need, that I see is center, outside linebacker, middle linebacker. So I think they're just going to stay true to the board and go with Emmanuel Robinson, the best safety in the draft this year. I think that he sneaks through, drops a little bit, and whoever lands him here late in the first round, if he makes it that far, is going to have a stud. The thing about him is he plays zone really, really well. He's got great hit power, great pursuit, and play the ball very, very well. And then the fact that he ran a 4.47 40 is pretty remarkable. And guys, he's only 21 years old out at LSU. So I'm going with Emmanuel Robinson for the LA Rams.
All right, we got the Texans at 21. Needs are middle linebacker, right tackle, cornerback, left tackle, and right outside linebacker. This is where I think the board still stays true since we've had a lot of computer picks in the middle here. I think this is where Nash Irwin finally comes off the board. I think you had him all the way up at 18. I got him at 21. So we're right in that same realm, of how good of a player he is.
Yep. All right, Houston Texans. I've got top needs: middle linebacker, right tackle, and cornerback. There's no linebackers, and now that both of the tackles that you just took the one off the board for you there with Nash Irwin, I lost him earlier there, and Burris as well. I'm going to go with cornerback right here and say that the Houston Texans are going cornerback Tavares Norton. That's out of Ole Miss, 6'2", 189. Great man coverage, great zone coverage. 6.8 on the combine grade, just a solid player. I think it'll be a very safe pick here. At the number 20 spot, I wouldn't be surprised to see him fall into that 17, 18 through draft now.
Yeah, I can certainly see that being the case. I had him going all the way up to 11, 10th. I had him going top 10. You got him out of the top 20. So that's what all this is about. How we portray what people might do. So it looks like near the end of the draft here, you're going to see that we're going to jump back into some more user picks. So we'll keep speeding through these through the CPU picks, and we'll take a little bit more time on the user picks coming up. So we got the Redskins, needs of left tackle, D tackle, right end, cornerback, and wide receiver. I have them going with the 25th rated player on the board. That's Lester Williams, 6'3", 299 out of UCLA. Only 21 years old. He could certainly be a guy that I could see someone trading up for eventually. But he's a good, solid pick. Decent all the way across. Decent acceleration. A little slow, middle line or D tackles at 300 pounds. You expect him to be slow, but 35 reps, so he's going to be somewhere between 87 and 90 strength. So he's definitely going to bring the muscle with him.
Nice. All right, with the 23rd pick, I've got the Tennessee Titans. This is a no-brainer. They only have to go 7 down on the big board, and to get them, it's their top need at cornerback. I have them going with Earl Mell, who I believe you actually had go quite a bit earlier. If I remember, you took him earlier. He's out of Auburn. He's a balanced corner. He plays solid man coverage, solid zone. Stellar at press coverage, being able to jam there at the line of scrimmage, and with a frame of 6'2", 191 and a combine grade of 7.1. I think he's going to be solid. He fits a need. Which makes a lot of sense for the Tennessee to take cornerback Mell, Mayle.
Who do you have for number 22 with the Redskins? Redskins. That's where we left off. Although even let's see. Yeah. So who'd you have?
Oh
For
yeah,
yeah, the
I
Redskins here.
didn't.
Pick
I didn't mark him
22.
off. Yeah, I didn't mark him off my watch list, so I just
Ah.
double picked there. My bad.
No, you're
Let
fine.
me climb back in here real quick. Oh man, this is even better here. It's just a little bit more of a reach at number 9 on the board. I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. This is a guy that I like a lot, and he's at the same position at cornerback, and that's Dwight Massey out of Ole Miss. He's a lot smaller than Mel, at 6'2", but this guy comes in at 5'11", and he's got A press. The zone coverage is great, which I don't know about you guys, but when you get into user games, I run a good mix of zone coverage. When I play the CPU, it's a lot of man. So that zone can come in very, very handy. He's got a combine grade of 6.9, so I would definitely go with the next cornerback. I got a little bit crossed up there, but what I meant was cornerback Massey out of Ole Miss.
Okay. And then you're going Earl Mail at 23 to the Titans?
No, 22 is Male with the Redskins.
22 is Mail with the Redskins.
And 23 is Massey to the Titans.
Okay.
That's my bad.
No, you're all right. There's changes on here.
Cool to see, that many corners all right there together, too. I know within my draft, it's Norton, Male, and Massey right there together.
Now, 23 to the Titans, I actually see them going with their fourth need. I have their needs at center, cornerback, right guard, right end, and free safety. I could see Shakar Childress, the 32nd overall pick here. They are actually pretty weak at that D tackle. I actually had to dig into them a little bit further than I wanted to. But this year, being one of our new users, I could certainly see him taking that left tackle or left end position, grabbing this 6'3", 295-pound, 22-year-old stud out of Nebraska, and getting work done with him. What do you think?
No, that would be a great pick. That would be a great pick. He is a solid player. And I think you can't go wrong with either of those. And I haven't had a chance to watch much of Abundant Life's gameplay. I know he was, there in the AFC. We didn't see each other last year much, but either of those players is going to add a lot to that defense. That's a team that he took over that probably looked very, very good on paper with the way the last user left it. But man, I'll tell you, we talked about this many times. Well, it's going to be, if you're wanting to come in and kind of plug and play some of the players that you really like, they were in a tough spot to do that. It was almost like the groundwork had already been laid, and a lot of cap penalty involved if you try to break that down. So I think it's going to be fun to see how he drafts here with us.
All right. Well, moving on to our very own I'm Not Sorry, bestwestern.com. Every time you see a link, is this man here. For sure. 24 Falcons, it actually has his top needs at quarterback, left outside linebacker, left guard, right tackle, and free safety. Now, this is where I feel might be one of the biggest steals of the draft. I think he's going the 6 overall man, Ricky Couch. This is where Ricky finally comes off the board, and Eric turns him into the next Matt Ryan.
I like it. From what I understand, he has re-signed Matt Ryan to a 1-year deal. At least he was gunning for him. I imagine that he got him. So this would be a nice way to bridge the gap there. You got Matt Ryan, maybe start the season off, and if you feel good enough about the rookie, how cool is it that you could take out, plug him in, play him, and if for some reason you get no bond or gets hurt, you got Matt Ryan, the same guy that led you to the playoffs last year. So that's I can definitely see that scenario unfolding as well, Weldon. However, with Couch already being off the board for me, the other needs are outside linebacker and offensive line. And when you look at it here, the one that stands out to me, I think he's already off your board, is Corey Claxton out of Notre Dame, 6'5", 339. He had 38 bench press reps. Going to be very, very strong. You throw in the fact that he had a 10-foot, 10-inch broad jump. That was first of all left guards. So somebody who's very, very explosive. I don't know if you guys keep up with Pat Kerwin or not, but Pat Kerwin's a football mind that used to be in the front office for the New York Jets, and he came up with basically a formula to determine someone's explosion rate. And in this case, if you look at that bench press, that broad jump, that vertical jump, Corey Claxton would just jump off the paper. So I'm definitely going right here. The offensive line with the Falcons, left guard, Corey Claxton.
All right, moving on now to the 25th pick, the Jets. The Jets have the needs of left guard, middle linebacker, cornerback, wide receiver, and strong safety. I believe their strong safety, Kelvin Pryor, was just picked up by Tom, if I believe that right, in a trade. And I know that it's a big position for them. I know that he was a stud for them. You know, they got a wide receiver, a great wide receiver out of that, in Allen. So I don't see wide receiver as a big of a need for them there. But I do see them taking this Corey Brewster, the 11th overall guy, from the strong safety position, and getting that back on track for themselves to get back to where they were, get back to their consistency on defense.
All right. For me, middle linebacker is what really stands out for the New York Jets. There's a prototypical right outside linebacker out of Miami. His name's Crosby Banyard. He's got great block shedding ability, good pursuit to the ball, decent hit power, had a 7.0 combine grade. I can definitely see the Jets going with Crosby Banyard, like I said, out of Miami, right outside linebacker, but definitely someone who can play that middle linebacker spot, which is obviously the top position of need there for the New York Jets.
All right, moving on to 26. We have our Steelers needing tight end, right tackle, left tackle, right outside linebacker, and left guard. I believe this guy came off the board for you at 13, but this is where I have 14th overall man, right tackle William Gritton coming off the board. So them picking up a great solid pick, late in this draft.
This is normally where I would say, it's just a little bit too far out of reach to go down and get the best offensive lineman available. But when you look at it, for me, the Steelers, it's right tackle and left tackle are the position of needs, sandwiched by the cornerback position, which there's not a corner inside at the moment. So what I would do if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers here, I would reach just a touch and go out and get Barry Dell. He's a right tackle, 6'6", 317 out of Florida State, great pass block. So Barry Dell, right tackle.
Okay, let's see what we got. 27. We got our Panthers. Panthers making a splash in free agency, getting the top guy, Ronnie Staley. So he, the Panthers are definitely continuing on without Michael and doing some, continue to do some great things. This is they have the needs of D tackle, right outside linebacker, cornerback, wide receiver, and tight end. This is where I have that Crosby Banyard coming off, where you had coming off at the 25th spot. So I have Crosby Banyard, right outside linebacker.
Very good. All right, for me, it just matches up too well. The Carolina Panthers need defensive tackle. That's their top need. Like you said, they went out and they did some stuff there in free agency. A little bit active, which is always cool to see someone get aggressive like that when it comes from the CPU. But I'm going with defensive tackle out of Notre Dame, Myron Stewart. First of all, it's Notre Dame, the greatest college in the history of college football. Let's go ahead and throw that out there for Henson and Tom as they listen to this later. And, so I'm going Myron Stewart. He's a little bit undersized at 6'1", 293. However, you beef him up a little bit. If they're in that 43 look, if they play a multiple look like the Bill Belichick's, he would be a guy that would play a great free technique. Got good burst, had a decent combine grade, great pursuit to the ball as well. He's just one of those guys that's got a knack for finding the ball carrier in the backfield. Good power move and good block shedding ability. So I think he would be a very, very good 43 type defensive tackle. However, he can also flex out there and play that 5 technique in the 34 look. So I'm going Myron Stewart, Notre Dame, defensive tackle.
All right, we got the 28th pick here. This is you, so I'll take over on this, or I'll take charge of this one. We have your needs as right outside linebacker, wide receiver, left end, free safety, and left tackle. Most of those earlier for me were cleared up. I think that you, as you always do, find a way to get one of the top guys on the board late. I think Christian Lindsey falls to you here. Clinton Dix is quickly forgotten. Tubbs will be moved back to strong safety, which is why I said no earlier. I think Christian Lindsey, stud, free safety, falls right into your lap.
And if he does, you're going to hear me. I'll be one happy puppy because I think he's a stud for safety, and that would just match up just perfect for my Packers for sure.
All right. So 29th pick, we got another newcomer, the Raiders. I don't know what his real name is. I've seen about 6 of them. Lions Network, RTA, whatever it is. He's new user. I think he's going to be all right. I know he struggled against me in that AFC Championship game, but it took a whole half to figure him out. I just got lucky, caught a defense that he couldn't handle. But I think he's going to be a real solid player for us. Moving forward. So I have his needs at the right end, D tackle, right tackle, left outside linebacker, and right outside linebacker. I believe you had this guy going up at number 16 for you. I think he falls down nicely, the number 9 overall guy, Charles Pichel. I guess I'll say his name that way. Charles Pichel going 29 to the Raiders.
Very nice. All right, I'm going back through my mock here, and I'm making sure that I didn't select them already. If I didn't, I'm going to tell you this is going to be a stud. For the Oakland Raiders, their top need is right end defensive tackle. This guy can play both of those. Brandon Mobley. You correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe I took him yet. I don't have him on my list. But Mobley is out of Oregon, a 34 run stopper, 6'6", 314. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. He's one of the best players in this draft, and the fact that he fell this far is something else. So I'm going to go with, like I said, defensive tackle Brandon Mobley out of Oregon. I'm sorry, right end on paper. Right end Brandon Mobley, 6'6", 314.
All right. We are back down to the Bills at number 30. This one was a little steep that I moved up to on that other trade. I'm not quite sure how it happened, but I'll take it the way it comes. What do you got here happen for the Bills at 30?
Let's see here. As I go back, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. We got the wide receiver last time, right, for the Bills, so that need's gone. The only thing that's really left is defensive line. And maybe that's there in the trenches with your big free agent signing. That's the need that stands out. And here within the top 5 picks, I hate that Mobley just went to the Raiders because that would be a great fit there as well. But the other defensive lineman that comes to mind is defensive tackle Lester Williamson. He's 6'3", 299 out of UCLA. Plays the run very, very well. Got a good power move, good block shedding ability. The guy that I think he comes out on paper and the big thing, man. When you hear 6'3", 299, you think undersized as a deep tackle. You always want your deep tackles to, unless you're running a solid 43 look, I like my deep tackles to really be a nice anchor for that running game to fill 2 gaps. He's only at 299, but guys, his bench press is 35 reps. The strongest defensive tackle in the draft. And here's the big kicker, too. He's only 21 years old. So I would be ecstatic to get Lester Williamson out of UCLA at the defensive tackle position for the Bills.
I can certainly tell you he's on my board. I just won't tell you where he is on it. Let's move on to number 31 here, the Jaguars. Jaguars are in need of cornerback, right outside linebacker, left tackle, tight end, and free safety. I have them going. Excuse me, guys. I believe you might have had this guy go already. Yep, you had him go at number 20. I think he falls a little further. I have him going with Emmanuel Robinson, the free safety. How is he at? He's free safety out of LSU, 21 years old, 4.74 or 4.4740. He's gonna be all right. He's definitely gonna be a solid player. For somebody with a need of free safety.
All right. Well, when I look at the positions of need there for the Jaguars, I came up with cornerback, middle linebacker, and right outside linebacker, and it's just going to be too much of a reach. Just at first glance here, you got two great safeties that are still left on the board. You got Corwin Brister out of Tennessee, and we've got Cloister, who is out of Miami. So when I look at those two, I think, okay, which one? They both had great combines. That's why their draft stock climbed. However, they're not as praised when it comes to just football skills. I'm going to slide down just a little bit further. He's fifth on the big board right now. I think Shakir Childress out of Nebraska, 34 run stopper, 6'3", 295. He's a stud. He brings the pop. He's kind of that Ndamukong Suh top hitter that you don't see very much out of right at a defensive lineman right around the 300-pound range. Great tackling ability, very, very solid power move as well. Had a great combine. So I'm going left end out of Nebraska, Shakir Childress.
All right, our last pick of the first round here. Before we move into a little in-depth analysis of our best player per round, we have the Bears needing a center, cornerback, wide receiver, left guard, and right tackle. Being that this is a 32nd pick, if I didn't have Christopher Candidate coming off the board a little earlier, he would certainly be the pick if that swings that way. But I can see them going with the second center, the 36 overall man, Zachary Ellis.
Fair enough. All right, man. Well, for me, it's offensive line. They're very, very weak at offensive line in corner. The next corner is going to be about a 10-spot reach. Scouts didn't have a whole lot to say about him. So I'm going to go with Barry Dell, right tackle out of Florida State. Pass blocking right tackle, Barry Dell.
You have him at 26th.
I do.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. Wrote it down wrong.
You had him going 26 to the Steelers.
All right. Let's go. Well, I really don't want to reach it. This is where it gets good, man, because you still got four, big board first round talents, rounding out the first round. You know what? I'm going to make it easy here. I'm going with the best running back in the draft. I know they need an offensive line. Maybe this is a way that they can take some of the heat off the quarterback as far as the pass rush comes. So I'm going to go with Keelan Roten out of Texas A&M, one cut back, very, very solid combine. Just a guy who's very, very quick on his first step. He was first in the 3-cone drill, first in the 20-yard shuttle. 23 years old out of Texas A&M. That's Keelan Roten to take some of that heat off the passing game and get a back that might allow the offense to attack on the ground and free up some of that passing game.
Who is this guy? I don't even have him on my. He's not even in the game for me.
Serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah, his name's Keelan Roten.
Oh, Keelan. Yes, I thought it said Roby. It's Rorten, whatever the heck it is. All right, I see it here.
Wroten.
All right, guys. Well, that's gonna round up our first round mock draft. What we have now is who we feel is the best player ranked, or best player per projected round. So we know that all the projected round really means crap in this game, for sure. But just based on those projections, it kind of gave us a couple guys to choose from. So you can kind of see some of these sleeper picks that might be around, as well as guys that we just kind of think very highly of. So my best first round talent, the guy that I think is going to be the most immediate stud out there, is I think you're looking at Perry Brown as that first that top guy in the first round. I think that he is the best player that I have ranked.
Nice. Well, on my board, Perry Brown went at number 7 to your Buffalo Bills. So that would be awesome if you dropped that far and you think that highly of him for sure. But for me, it's left outside linebacker Spicer, and don't get that confused, guys. He's a 34 pass rushing outside linebacker. So this is the guy that if you're running a 43 defense, you want to put him on the defensive end spot. He's 6'2", 250. To me, he's kind of got that Khalil Mack feel. Got good hit power, a good block shedding ability, a great finesse move, which I don't know how you guys feel, but for me personally, if I had to choose between a power move or a finesse move when it comes to a pass rusher, I'm going finesse move all day long. Great combine. He was actually had 32 bench press reps there, first out of all of the left outside linebackers. His 3-cone was solid. His 20-yard shuttle was solid. And he ran a 4.57 40. So this is a guy that I just think he's a football player. He's 23 years old, out of Wisconsin. I have him as the top first round.
All right, moving on to the second round. Best player in the second round that I feel, personally. I know you guys don't like the small wide receivers, but I have Vincent Whitehead. He's only 5'9", 22 years old, 177 pounds. Probably soaking wet. They probably boosted it up by 10 pounds for the draft. Out of East Carolina, ran a 4.45 40. Really quick first step. But the biggest things that I noticed was that he's solid catching and solid route running. Those two things are great starting points for a wide receiver. And the speed is there to match, probably right around a 90, 92 speed. With good acceleration, I just think he's a solid player. Somebody that you could use in the slot, and me, kick returning.
Very nice. Yeah, that's somebody I'm going to have to mark because I didn't really notice him. I could see him being a very, you get him in the second round, he'll probably fall within the top 25 through draft count. So that's a nice look there. For me, it's right tackle Griffin. I noticed that the offensive line has several first round projections, but when it comes down to it, and looking on that board here, make sure I don't get across. Right tackle Griffin, that's TRITCON. I think he's going to be a solid player. He had 32 bench press reps, so it's nothing that's out of the park by no means, but still within that range of being solid with strength. He also moves very well. He's a guy that he's got a high explosion rating for me. And the big thing that stood out to me when it comes to William Gritton is, obviously 6'4", 306 out of Wisconsin, zone blocking, but he's 21 years old. So I think if somebody drafts that guy out there in the second round, they're going to have somebody that's probably a 74 or 75 overall, and he's going to be someone that you can really, really crank up. 21 years old, he's going to progress very, very cheaply. And if we look up and he's a quick or a superstar development, he's going to be a stud. So that's Gritton out of Wisconsin, right tackle.
All right, moving into the third round here. I'm sticking with impact skill players. That's kind of my mantra, where I go with who has who's gonna be the best players. I have Malik Cowan out of Beth Brookman, a speed back, ran a 4.31 40. Now his acceleration's not what you'd want it normally, but this dude is a burner. Good vision, good juke move, decent elusiveness. He could certainly be that a little bit bigger Darren Sproles, and I think that he could certainly make somebody a nice fit here in the third round. Obviously our talent's going to start diminishing through rounds, but I could certainly see him making an impact somewhere.
Very nice. Well, for me, I'm gonna stick to my mantra as well, and that's offensive line. Here in the third round, I'm gonna go with right guard Kirksey. This is a guy that I think could climb into the second round. Although he's projected as a late third rounder, When you look at his combine numbers, and he's only 22 years old, his bench press, he's 34 reps. He was at the right guard position. He was first in the 20-yard shuttle, first in the three-cone drill, first in the 40-yard dash. He's going to be a solid zone blocking right guard, and I think great value in the third round there. That's DJ Kirksey out of Alabama.
DJ, how'd you spell his name? Who the heck is
Kirksey, A-I-R-K.
A-I-R-A?
A-I-R-K-S-E-Y. Kirksey.
Well, where was his position? I apologize. Kind of looking for
Right guard.
right guard.
Should be the second right guard on the big board.
Oh, there he is. Good old DJ. All right, so scrapping from the bottom of the barrel here in the fourth round. I see. I'm gonna call him, forever in this draft here. Mr. Sneeze, and that'll be right end Jimmy Hachu. Attouchu. 22-year-old, 6'3", 314 pounds. Right end. Not real good as far as speed and acceleration, which is a big thing for me at D end. But 38 reps at the combine. Solid tackling, solid block shedding. In the fourth round, he's going to be a really nice value for somebody.
Nice. All right, for me in the fourth round, it's right outside linebacker Rashad LeBounty. He's out of Florida A&M, a balanced linebacker, someone who I feel like could probably rush the quarterback, and but still play the run as well. So you can slot him in the middle linebacker or outside linebacker. He had a great combine. He's got great hit power ability, solid block shedding, pursues the ball well, and of the combine, he was one of the quickest linebackers in the combine. His three-cone shuttle was 7.05 second of all right outside linebackers. 20-yard shuttle was 4.29 second of all right outside linebackers. So I think he's a player that's going to be a solid pick there in the fourth round. Again, his name is Rashad LeBounty out of Florida A&M, right outside linebacker.
Okay, moving on to the fifth round. I'm actually going back to halfback here. We got a nice solid guy out of Penn State, Rijo Calmer. Man's getting pretty funny with these names, but R-O-J-I Calmer. 5'10", 222 pounds, 22 years old. Ran a 4.4. Second best among running backs. Good acceleration. Decent strength. Good spin move. Good vision. You'd have to see what his carry is, but we're at the fifth round now, so all these guys are going to be projects for somebody. But I have Rijo Calmer, fifth round halfback out of Penn State.
Nice. All right, for me, this guy was projected early fourth round. I've got him as a true fifth rounder, so I threw him in the fifth round column. I think if anybody takes him in the fourth round, they're going to be disappointed. However, if you get him in the fifth round, he will be the best fifth round talent, and that's kind of his true draft talent that I've observed. So his name is Javion Forte, out of Arizona. 4.3 run stopper. He's 6'7", 305. Great tackling ability, good hit power, decent block shedding. Had a good combine, a 6.9 combine grade. So again, that's Forte, left end, out of Arizona.
All right. So moving on to the sixth round here, we have, if I can find his little candy ass here. I'm actually going to go with a free safety out of New Hampshire, 21 years old, 6'4", 219 pounds, Gene Brennan. He basically he was top 2 of everything. I think if somebody could win the combine, he won the combine. He had a 4.240, 38-inch vertical, 10.6 broad jump. He was first among free safeties in both the 3-cone and the shuttle, and first to run along the bench press. However, as far as football skills, which is why he's a 6-rounder, he's basically got that hip power and pretty solid tackle. He's going to be a project, but he's 21 years old, so he's got time. I think he ends up going somewhere, in the way that we draft, I think he ends up going somewhere in the late 3rd to early 4th. But he ends up being a 6-rounder based on this thing that we got going here. The way that this is designed.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. We got guys that love speed. Love it. So, all right, for me, the 6-rounder is wide receiver Vaughn White. He's out of Tulsa, and I'll tell you, he's projected also as an early 5th rounder, but I see him as a 6th-round talent, so I'll put him in the 6th round. This is a guy that, when you look at the combine, he had a decent combine, a 7.0 grade. He only ran a 4.5 240, but guys, he is 6'6", 229 pounds. He's a monster. His vertical jump is 40.2 inches. He was strong too. I can see him being a very, very good possession receiver with great spectacular catch. As we all know, speed isn't as much of a factor in this Madden when it comes to wide receivers. It just isn't. You get somebody who can come out of the breaks or have a good release rating off the line of scrimmage, they can create separation right off the bat. So I like here in the 6th round being wide receiver Vaughn White. That's Lyght.
Okay, moving on to the 7th round. I have a nice cornerback here, Barry Lallee, I guess you could say. Ran a 4.5 40, 6'1", 189 out of North Carolina, 22 years old. Good speed with a 4.45, decent acceleration. Anybody under 11.5 of a combined score between the 3-cone and the 20-yard shuttle, you can consider decent, not elite. But he's got a good press and decent zone, decent man. This is definitely a project. Once again, we're in the 7th round, so everybody here is going to be a project.
All right, for me in the 7th round, it's middle linebacker Cottrell. If I'm saying that right, he's out of South Carolina. Run-stopping middle linebacker, 6'2", 254. Good tackle ability, good pursuit, good block shed. Didn't have a great combine. I feel like that's why he may have dropped. But his name is Colin Cottrell. He's projected as a late 4th rounder. True draft talent showing 7th round. I think if he does fall to the 7th round at 21 years old, even in spite of that combine, I think he get a solid value pick in the 7th round. So again, his name is Cottrell, Cottrell, middle linebacker.
All right. I don't know if you did this. I went into even one undrafted guy. I believe I might have mentioned it to you, to look at. But I have an undrafted guy here, another free safety. Probably the brother of no, he is not a free safety. Where the heck is he? Is he a strong safety? Well, he's not on my list anymore, for whatever reason. But I have a Javonte Aguilar as my undrafted guy. Maybe he's on my watch list here. Nope, he's been erased from the game. So some of these undrafted guys come back later.
Yeah, it's great.
know that, but a guy that came and may come back here was Javante Aguilar. I can't tell you anything else about him because he's not on the game anymore.
Gotcha. Well, for me, I did find an undrafted one here. Just looking at my big board, he's projected as a late fifth rounder, but he's undrafted true draft talent. However, even though he comes out as undrafted, I think he's going to be a solid player. I think he'll be in the lower 70s. He's his name's Terrell Herman out of Ohio State, 6'6", 285 pounds, 22 years old. Had a decent combine, but the thing that stood out to me, man, was his football skills. He's got a decent power move, decent pursuit, decent hit power, and so just someone that I don't think I would draft him if he does fall from a late fifth rounder to undrafted. I'll be looking for him in the free agent pool for sure. So again, that's Terrell Herman out of Ohio State, left end.
All right. Well, we're going to get wrapping this up here with our Rookie of the Year predictions. Basically, the way that I judge this, I don't know if you did the same here, Lamb, but the way I judge this is based on where the people had gone in my mock draft. Who's going to turn these certain players into what they can become based on how they played in the past. That's kind of how my scene is usually a user winning the Rookie of the Years on most of these things anyway. So my offensive Rookie of the Year would actually be the guy that I had going to sick at number 12 overall is Dixon Mayberry. He was a 24th overall ranked guy, but we all know what Sick Note can do with those running backs. We had Christian McCaffrey make some unbelievable numbers in his time with San Francisco. So, I think he's going to do that with whoever his running back's going to be. And because I had him there in that draft, I could certainly say Dixon Mayberry would be my selection for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, we're going same team for offensive rookie of the year. However, I'm going with quarterback of the year. I think that he's going to be a stud of a quarterback. I think he's going to do a great job, create time in the pocket with his mobility, and he's going to be a player that's going to put up some gaudy numbers. I know he does tend to lean on the run, like he did with McCaffrey, how McCaffrey walked. I can definitely understand with Mayberry there. But for me, it's definitely going to be Ring. Ring, guys, he's kind of that same mold as Wilbur that I drafted last year. Wilbur, when I took him, he was the best quarterback in the draft. He was only 21 years old. He was very mobile. And it's crazy because he came in the league at a 79. By week one, I had him at an 81. And now we finished the year last year. He won Rookie of the Year and MVP, and he's now a 95 overall. I think at the end of the year, between MVP, Rookie of the Year, just his overall bonus performance during the season, I had over 80,000 XP to spend on him. This guy, Casey Ring, is a complete duplicate of Wilbur. Same size. Wilbur's a little bit heavier, a little over 220. Ring comes in at 6'2", 217. He's only 21 years old, just like Wilbur. 40-yard dash is a 4.59, and his acceleration is going to be unbelievable with the three-cone drill being a 6.95 and a 4.17 in the 20-yard shuttle. So I think Ring is a rookie of the year for the San Francisco 49ers.
All right. Well, wrapping it up for me, defensively, Rookie of the Year. I had a guy that, I can, unless somebody, steals him, I can certainly see Ronald Spicer, wearing that green and gold, as well as, being Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, I've got to agree with you. This is it's exactly who I had now. Left outside linebacker Spicer. He fits everything the Packers do. 34 pass rusher. We just let Scott walk. Scott was 26 years old, and was just trying to break the bank at $12, $13 million per. I wasn't going to get caught up in a 5-year contract in 2 years from now and be regressing. So I said, you know what? I've got who I call King Tut. Starting right now at 81 overall. He was draft pick of mine the last year, the year before. But if Oscar's on the board when I pick, you can bet your ass I'm going to take him. and he'll be my starting outside linebacker. So I agree, man. I can see him being rookie of the year. And I've been running a lot of mock blitzes here lately, well, and it's something that I'm going to start changing up. I'm going to start rotating the pass rusher into that mock linebacker spot when I go to blitz. Kind of like how the Packers have done with Clay Matthews last year. They got away from it this year. He struggled last week. They put him back in the inside linebacker position. Lo and behold, defense steps up. So I want to be able to put him right in the middle of the field if he is available in Spicer, and get a good rotation, and especially out of that nickel set. I like to blitz those inside linebackers. So I'm on page with him, man. Not to shoot my own horn, but I can definitely see him putting up some huge numbers as far as sacks goes. Left outside linebacker Spicer. The other one that comes to mind, though, and I'm kind of staying with with the user control team here. I had the Bills taking Brown at the number 7 spot, cornerback. He's definitely that too. If I had to choose one other than Spicer, it would be Brown. Just because it seems like in the past he's just a rookie of the year, has kind of fallen into either middle linebacker or cornerback. So I could definitely see Brown taking that.
All right, great. I mean, yeah, exactly what you said with Spicer there. Moving guys inside and out. I can tell you that the Buffalo Bills with me, with this new ability to have formation subs. I don't even worry about my starters or formations in general now. I don't even worry about changing players out during a game. As you've seen from that chart that I posted the other day, I'll take the best guy that has the skills needed for that position in that set, and he'll be placed there, regardless of position. I had a strong safety that used to be an outside linebacker, playing the outside linebacker position for me, or playing the middle linebacker position, simply because he dropped into zone 90% of the time, and he had very good tackling ability as well as zone ability. So certainly for me, I know we all play a little bit differently, but that moving guys in and out and all around, and that doing something like that has also helped me keep pass rushers fresh. I'll put certain ones in at certain times, and guys are very well rested throughout the game, as long as the defense, as long as the offense stays balanced. My defense, gets plenty of rest all the way through with certain guys. So guys, I want to thank you guys for joining us here. I know this is a little bit different. This is the first time. It doesn't really look too classy here. We'll try to get a better look for next time. But give us some feedback. Tell me what you thought of what we did here. See how we could fix it. Make it better. Make it what you guys want. I feel like this is something that we all kind of want in some way. But it gets a little scary about tipping your hand. I understand. But the more guys that we can, have involved, in doing things like this, that'd be great. Lamb, anything you want to say before we kick off here? Or head off?
No, man, I just want to give you props. This was solely Weldon's idea. He reached out to me yesterday, the day before, and said, "Hey, how about doing a mock draft?" And I think it's a great idea. I do a lot of podcasts, and obviously we do the Madden Football Radio show with Matt, and I enjoy that stuff tremendously. But the one thing I'm not good at is setting things up like this. And the format you use, I know it isn't flashy, but dude, it's perfect. It's just a job done. There's a lot of other leagues that do a lot of things, and everything looks flashy. It's all pretty on the surface. Then you hear them talking, they don't have a clue what they're talking about when it comes to real football. In this situation, I feel like it's good insight. Like you said, you don't want to tip your hand, but at the same time, hopefully you guys come away going, you know what, man, we're part of a league where the information matters, and there's probably 2 or 3 players that we mentioned that you might put a footnote down and say, you know what, I didn't even think about him. Let me go see who he's talking about. Who's that fast guy that we're talking about? Who's that defensive lineman that had good scouted, ratings there as far as defensive moves late in the draft? That's the type of stuff that we want to put on the table. And what we may want to do, Weldon, if at all possible, is try to get these lists where we could copy and paste them and throw them in the chat on our Daddy Elite site. That way the guys can just get a quick glimpse of it before we go into tomorrow. But again, the draft's at 9 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yep, 9 o'clock in the morning. So we'll.
All right, man. I just want to say thanks, man. Thank you for taking the time to put this together, and it was a blast.
All right, no problem, guys. So we're gonna sign off here. I'm gonna post these lists on, the video to watch it again. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, sure enough, should be a little bit because I got to do a little bit of editing on it. But we'll try to get it up on YouTube. Share that link with you, as well as I'll get these lists posted just about immediately onto the chat. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.